Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Borduna, this is my mom Gina.
He is a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
Yes, I am, because we're getting to the pinnacle, the final, edging to the finale of college football.
Yes.
And it's good.
Right, yes.
Champions
exactly.
Weekend was last weekend, and we are gearing up for the bowl season.
The bowl season is upon us.
Yes.
Starting next weekend, we will have the first rounds of bowl games.
December 16th.
Yes, and it's time. It's time to finally, like you said, get to the I guess you could say, the pinnacle, the finale, the big shebang of college football, which is the postseason, and where all the teams get to travel to the bowl games. As you just said, we had the championship weekend this last weekend of all the conferences, which I thought actually was a pretty good weekend.
I felt like it was a great weekend.
I was very happy with all the teams, and there was a lot of controversy which took place going into this year's playoff, which is exactly what we're going to talk about. What were your quick thoughts on how the committee selected these teams and how this whole process has taken place?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think that the committee went through a really arduous process where they used very serious metrics that looked a lot like this. I don't think they did anything right.
Yeah.
I feel like you now have the Pac-12 and the Big Ten champions both out of the conversation for the national playoff. You have Alabama in there on reputation, not this year's reputation, by the way.
Right.
Previous year's reputation. Georgia, okay, a SEC champ, one lost Georgia. Oklahoma, yes, one lost Big 12. And Clemson, yes, one lost ACC. My problem, however, is Clemson got blown out.
Thank you.
By Syracuse, who you never heard from again.
Correct.
So I think there are a lot of people, including USC, who could make the argument that they have a right to be in that top four.
Yes.
So I have a big problem with it. But at the end of the day, do I think Alabama may be one of the top four teams in the country? Probably.
Right.
I mean, probably more than likely they are.
Sure.
So it ended up with Clemson number 1, Oklahoma 2, Georgia 3, and Alabama at 4. I think we can all live with it, and at the end of the day, they're going to prove it on the field. So there you go.
Well, I totally agree with you. Clemson and Alabama, to me, if you're just going off of this year, I think have more of the bigger question marks to the exact point that you made about Clemson and that Syracuse loss, and then Alabama against who they've played this year. Their schedule does not warrant them to being one of the top 4 teams. And then the teams that played them tough, they really struggled with, including actually losing to Auburn. So for me, I really feel like if there are question marks about the top 4, it's Clemson and Alabama. Now, to the point you also said, it's Alabama and Clemson. Are they a top 5? Are they top 5, top 4 teams? Yeah, I would have a hard time really,
arguing against that. Right.
But this is where we're at. Clemson is number 1. Oklahoma is number 2. You've got Georgia at 3 and Alabama at 4. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about those bowl games that are set up for the college football playoff right now.
Okay.
What do you want to start with?
Well, the New Year's, the 2 semifinals. Right. Can we back up, though? Because I want to talk about 5 through basically 12, because those are the teams that are going to make up the rest of the bowls.
That's fine.
Okay, the New Year's 6. I'm sorry. Well, so Ohio State ended up at 5 and Wisconsin at 6. So Ohio State is going to end up playing USC. So you've got the Big Ten champ playing the Pac-12 champ, and they're going to play in the Cotton Bowl, which is a big New Year's stick bowl. Everybody's like, oh, consolation prize. But then you got UCF, undefeated, AAC champ, finished at 12. Come on, get out of here.
Unbelievable.
Okay, they're going to play a 3-loss Auburn team.
Correct.
Again on New Year's 6 in the Peach Bowl. Then you've got Penn State, who basically finished, second in their half of the draw in the Big Ten, and they're going to play in the Fiesta Bowl against UW, Washington. And then you've got number 10, Miami, who's going to be playing against Wisconsin in the Orange Bowl.
Right.
So those are kind of the New Year's 6 bowls that really are named bowls. But at the end of the day, it doesn't count because you are not playing for a national championship. I don't care what you do in that bowl game.
Right, exactly.
You're out.
Which is basically why I went with, let's just go with those.
Right. Well, then now you go
playoff.
Talk about the people who get a chance to be in the playoff.
Exactly.
So
Which is, it's just a shame that the discussion we just had isn't even a relevant conversation, because you're talking about the Peach Bowl,
Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl,
right?
The Cotton Bowl. You get the little Cotton Bowl trophy and go home. That's what you get. That's what you get.
It doesn't make any sense. But the real conversation now is these Final Four teams, the semifinal, not the actual playoff.
Right.
They're calling it a playoff,
It's
but we
a
know
Final
it's
Four chosen by a group of people who pick their
exactly.
favorites. Call it what it is.
So the 2 bowl games are the Sugar Bowl played in New Orleans, and then you got the Rose Bowl played obviously in California, in Pasadena, out there in the LA area.
Look how sad we are about it. We're like,
It's just the realities of which we are at right now. A lot of discussion about, is Ohio State the team that should be in there? Is Alabama supposed to be in there? The Final Four rankings came out.
UCF has an argument to make.
Yes.
USC has an argument to make.
Exactly. There's a couple teams that could have very easily slid up into one of those 3 or 4, number 3 or 4, but really just for number 4. But this is where we're at. And so you got Clemson and Alabama playing each other, and then you've got Oklahoma and Georgia playing each other, and then you have the national championship game, which is played after those 2 games. But this is where we're at. This is what the committee. This is what the committee decided, and so we're gonna watch all these games because there's still gonna be good games to watch.
I'm gonna be watching from the 16th on.
Yeah,
the Sarsaparilla Bowl, Gasparilla Bowl,
right, exactly.
The Belk Bowl. Dollar General's got a bowl. I'm watching all of that.
Dollar General's got a bowl game.
I'm watching every
this is their
single
second
one of them.
Too.
Every last
second
one
or
of them.
third, but either way, we're watching it, and it's just exciting because we will be doing a bowl game special. There's 39 bowl games, so it's a lot to get through, but we will go through it.
We've been doing the research on it.
Yes, we've been in the lab with our pen and paper, figured it all out, so that's awesome. Well, let's transition to another postseason award or another just fun topic for college football,
right?
And that's the Heisman Trophy. That Heisman Trophy ceremony is just
very cool,
heralded as one of the elite athletic trophies or ceremonies.
I would say in all of sports.
Yeah,
really.
just in all of sports.
I know it's a college award, but I think in all of
college
sports, it's a big deal.
Specifically, but it is a huge deal because you get to honor the best college football players in the country.
Absolutely. It's almost like the Hall of Fame ceremony for the pros because you bring back all the old Heisman winners.
Really
it's
cool.
a really big deal.
It's
I'm
awesome.
excited about it.
Yes, we've got 3 athletes in this year. Some years it's 5, some years it's 4. But generally it's no less than 3.
It's 3 to 5 each year.
Yeah.
We talked about this last year. I prefer when it's on the 4 or 5 level because you've got 130 Division 1A or 132 schools.
Yep.
You know, to boil it down to just 3 kids, especially when there's some on the bubble.
Right.
I wish they would just do it, expand it to 5. Let them all have the experience. Let them do the thing and have them up there with their mom crying, or their dad or their mentor or whatever.
Sure.
Let them all be celebrated. I don't understand why it has to only be 3. But
I agree with you on that. I think there's a lot of things that they can do to expand it. But if they're, I think it is a committee that also puts together this number. And if they feel like, hey, there's really only 3 guys that we want to bring to New York, then it just is what it is. But I do agree with you. I think there is a lot of room for improvement as far as bringing other people.
Well, why don't you talk about who's in and I'll talk about who's out.
Yeah, so we've got Baker Mayfield, quarterback for Oklahoma. You've got Bryce Love, running back for Stanford. He's split time with Christian McCaffrey last year.
You've been hot on him for a while.
And then Lamar Jackson, the returning Heisman Trophy winner from Louisville, who was in the first half of the season, then kind of was out, and then now he's back in. So congratulations to him.
Yep, he's back. Well, the person out because they didn't go to Fort Saquon Barkley, awesome running back out of Penn State, who we all have just really liked watching. Penn State didn't end the way they would have liked to have won. I think if they were in that Big Ten championship, his name would have been elevated. I still think he still had great numbers this year. But
great
again,
job.
If they had done 4 or 5, it would have been better. But it'll be exciting to see.
Absolutely.
I think Baker Mayfield, every's like when Lamar Jackson won. I think about LeVar Bell all the time. It's like when Lamar Jackson won. Everybody knows Baker Mayfield's going to win. He deserves it. I'm glad to bring another Heisman to the Big 12.
Absolutely.
Good job, Baker.
Yep. I hope he goes and dominates the Rose Bowl as well, and
he's going to
and bring home an actual national championship along with the Heisman Trophy.
He is on the About That Life squad. So I think he's going to be just fine.
I'd like to have him on my team.
Correct.
Too, so. Anyways, that's just kind of our college
Get ready for the postseason.
Postseason starts next week. We're just excited and happy to finally get to this point in time of the year.
Yeah,
and,
we are.
It's the holidays, so we're really excited. Well, we appreciate your time, folks. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, type in my name, Adam Orduna, like our Facebook page. We'll see you again, folks.